Thanks for the introduction and want to tell everybody we do certainly appreciate you sharing some of your time with us to learn a little bit about who we are, what we're working on. If you guys let me share my screen, I can go through a quick just overview of PowerPoint for everybody. Some people are visual. I'll go through it pretty quickly if a lot of you have experience in the cryptocurrency space, the blockchain space, and we can do a little bit of Q&A at the end. But I guess is almost everybody here from Australia?
No. A
No.
lot of them are, but not
A
everybody.
lot.
Patty,
I
you're
was
going
gonna
to have
say,
to have the ability to share his screen.
if I can see their screen and it's daytime, I know they're Aussie, right? So
Yeah.
it's pretty easy to tell if they're dark outside their window. It's probably near me or something, Puerto Rico, or I guess even California this time. So oi oi oi. All right. My one of my buddies, he trained with me at tennis academy in Florida. He was from Adelaide, played tennis at Wichita State in college, and then we played some of the pro circuit together. Um, he was better than me. I probably lost money trying to play pro tennis, spending on hotels and stuff. He probably made a little bit. But I've been involved in this space for quite a while. I learned about Bitcoin when the white paper came out, like not too long after. I was telling friends about it just because I thought it was a great concept. I wasn't that into the tech side, so I actually didn't start mining, unfortunately, right away. I ended up starting to buy years later, like around $210 a coin, and just kind of wrote it up. My last big purchase was at 40,000. And if you guys wanted to sell me Bitcoin today, I'd probably buy it from you today at 62. I would have bought it at 69, which is the all-time high. It's just I think it's going to go way higher. I might be wrong. At the end of the day, I don't have a crystal ball or anything like that, but I just think it's a better way to transfer value. And I want to share what got me excited about these projects. And before I get into the presentation, I'll tell you really what attracted me to the group that's building this project. They had started a project called Gala Games and told me about it back in 2017, 2018 as they were developing it. And as I go through the presentation, you'll understand what a node is. If you're familiar with Bitcoin, it's like a mining node or whatever, like an Antminer, but it's software based. The nodes for our projects are software based. But what I love about their projects is their real world relations. So every one of their rewards is based on real world revenue and real world utility, which is not the case with about any other cryptocurrency on the planet. And so I want to go through our projects real quick. Let me see if I can share my screen, and then I'll go through it. I'll share my story about Gal and what really got me kind of connected to these guys. Can you guys see my screen okay, Patty? Good. All right. So our project, the first blockchain Connect, it lives on what's called the Wind blockchain. There's 14 major projects that are in play right now. There's a few more projects that are coming down the pipeline. If you're new to blockchain, I first explained it as a little simpler terms than Herb did. I look at the internet as really, in its simplest form, it allows us to share information freely, real time, without having to wait on a third party to get that information. And those of us that are old enough to remember needing to wait for the news to come on so we could see what the weather was going to be tomorrow or the 10-day forecast. Now, you guys can tell me what's going to happen in Puerto Rico tomorrow. Is it going to rain? Is it going to be hot? What's going to happen? I can tell you what's going on in Sydney. Just from here, we can figure out if it's raining in Tokyo, today. That is all information that's available to us due to the internet. The internet's centralized, one big spot. All our data kind of, if Amazon gets hacked and you've got data there, they've got your data. It's all in one place. While the internet allows us to share information, and you look at the people that were the early adopters of the internet, Bill Gates, the Steve Jobs, Zuckerberg came in on the middle part, with social media, Elon Musk with PayPal, and creating payments on the internet before anybody was really doing that. People that adopted that technology, they're household names, the pioneers in that space. While the internet allows us to share information freely, the blockchain allows you to share value freely and way more securely than a centralized internet. And what I mean by that is you got all these different computers that connect up to make a blockchain, and almost all the solid decentralized blockchains. If I have my social security number that sits in Wells Fargo bank and Wells Fargo gets hacked, they've got my bank information. If I have my social security in tax forms on the Opus blockchain, what's funny is if somebody hacked one of the computers on the blockchain, they might get 2 numbers of my social. If my credit card's on there, they might get 4 numbers of my credit card. They wouldn't get 16 numbers. If my bank checking account, routing number, and account number on there, they might get 2 numbers or 3 numbers instead of 10 numbers, because a different computer has the other numbers, and a different computer randomly are given access to those other numbers. So it's way more secure, but the ability to share value real time without the need of, I don't know, can you still see my screen, Patty?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait, hold on. Yes.
It looks weird now.
It did
Sorry.
look weird.
Let me reshare just if I can. So let's see if this works. So being able to share the value real time, a lot of people think about that as currency, which is, I guess, one way to do it. But with us, slideshow. With us, we're able to share more than just currency as value. So, I tell people, if I wanted to wire you guys $100,000 for a project and you are living in Australia, tonight my bank's closed. And so I got to wait till tomorrow. I got to call them. And then I need your bank information. And then it's an international wire. So it might be Friday before the money gets there. Now, if you guys are involved in blockchain, you could say, hey, I'll just give you a Bitcoin wallet address and I could send you $100,000 tonight within minutes and the transaction's done. And it'll be a lot cheaper than sending it through a wire, depending on the network. But I've sent 7 figures in Bitcoin and paid $1.27 in transaction fees before. So that's a better way to transfer funds. And the basics behind it is it's the technology upon which cryptocurrency is built. It's been adopted faster than any technology in history. It's impacting virtually every industry in the world. Even Elon Musk says it's definitely a better way to transfer value than a piece of paper. It's actually, I got to update these numbers because over the last few months, it's close to double the amount of cryptocurrency owners. It's growing pretty quickly. The Bitcoin ETFs here in the United States hold over 192,000 Bitcoin and growing. It's accepted by payments by more and more major brands and major companies. The value is really determined by supply and demand, the market's utility for the coin, market sentiment, and there's certainly other factors as well. The way to acquire cryptocurrencies: mining through node ownership, proof of action through rewards with our cryptocurrency, and purchasing from a friend, a broker, or an exchange. Cryptocurrency is only available to purchase in our ecosystem when a node owner or reward recipient are willing to part with it. And that's a little different than a lot of, ICO kind of programs, pump and dumps, where they're, we're selling our coin. We don't have ICO. Like, no tokens exist until the nodes start mining the transactions, similar to Bitcoin. The node works, as I kind of explained earlier, it's like having a cell phone tower, and you're basically renting that farmer's land. If you're, a cell phone company, Verizon, AT&T here in the United States, are using that farmer's land to basically transition their network further and further around the country, around the world. If the farmer has that cell tower on their land, they're getting, usually it's leased, they're getting paid every month for basically allowing the network to use their land and their tower. Our nodes are pretty much the same. We're basically, instead of borrowing your land to put a cell tower on, we're saying, hey, you can purchase software in any of our projects. And if you purchase software in one of our projects and we're going to borrow your computer power, we'll give you tokens in that cryptocurrency as a reward for letting us use your computer power. And I'll go through some of the projects, because blockchain can solve a lot of issues that surround the world today. And for folks that want to participate in the blockchain in our ecosystem, they can become a node owner, purchase software, or they can help others become node owners as well. If you do both, it'll maximize rewards. I'm not going to go through the whole disclaimer. This is recorded. You can pause and go through it. Here's what I tell people. There's no guarantees. What we're trying to accomplish has never been accomplished before. And there's a chance that we don't pull it off. And if we don't, the tokens that you're getting is magic internet money that's never going to be worth anything. If we do pull it off, the tokens will probably be worth more than gold. And what's I love about these projects as I get into them is people like us that are on this webinar, we can move the needle. Like we can make it so more and more people are interested in our projects. We can make it so more and more people learn about our projects, which makes our value of our tokens go higher and higher as the user base grows. It's tied to real world revenue. There's several different partner brands. I'm going to go through just a few of them briefly. Galvin is our health and wellness app. It's basically an app you can download on your smartphone. You can hook it up to a wearable as well, but it'll just with a voice. It uses AI that Amazon Alexa uses. Over 2,500 inflections in the human voice. It'll let you know every morning, every afternoon, every evening, whatever you want. You can assess yourself. It'll tell you whether you're higher energy than normal or lower. It'll tell you whether your stress level's high, normal, or low. And if it says, hey, your energy is a little low today, it'll give you some things to do to increase your energy level. And if you do them, it'll reward you in cryptocurrency. So it's basically bribing you to get healthier. But at the end of the day, the long-term goal of Dr. Sharp, and he helped to start this project, but it's fully decentralized. That's what's great about it. His vision for this is for millions, if not a billion plus users, sharing their information anonymously, their health information, their genealogy, like DNA, anonymously, and letting all of the best scientists, physicians, let some of the best AI in health and wellness go through that data. And if we pull that off years from now, there'll be no such thing as a rare disease. AI would be able to assess everybody's data almost instantaneously. And if you had a child that you thought had a pretty rare illness, AI might say, no, there's 47,832 people that have had these symptoms. These 14,000 were treated with this medicine, with this herb, with this routine, and it works. And that's what you should do here. That's where we want to head, is allowing each and every one of us to take ownership of our health. Because right now, I know in the United States, we don't really have that ownership. Grow is another one of my favorite projects. We have farms all over the United States, one here in Puerto Rico as well, that are part of this project, where it allows us to know what food we're putting in our body and what that food ate that we're putting in our body. Because if you think about it, I know around the world, there's about 10 companies that control everything we eat. And a lot of them fall under Monsanto, Cargill. There's a few big corporations around the planet, whether it's Nestle or Unilever, Mondelez, which was Kraft Foods, Kellogg's, General Mills, Mars, I don't know if it's food that we're getting from a lot of these companies as much as it's chemicals. Like if you ever read ingredients lists. And so what I love about Grow, and I have a Grow farm near me, I can actually use my Grow tokens and buy my steak. I can buy vegetables, eggs, milk, whatever I want. And everything they sell has a QR code. Imagine going to a restaurant and you order a steak and it comes out with a QR code. And when you snap it, it says, hey, Connie, this is cattle number 1176459. It was sourced from Stone Creek Farms in Brisbane, Australia. It's a free-range organic cow. It was never injected with any hormones, never injected with any steroids. We processed it right here on the farm 2 days ago. It was packed, shipped, refrigerated, never frozen to the restaurant, and now you're enjoying it at the 48-hour mark. And so you'll know that cattle ate 1,167.5 pounds of grass during its free range lifespan, and literally fruits, vegetables, you'll know whether it's really organic. You'll know whether there were pesticides sprayed all over it. And I think there's a huge value for people nowadays, especially with all these big conglomerates and what they're putting in our food. It's really valuable for us to understand what we're putting in our bodies. And the farmers can get outside of the huge global commodities markets and go direct to consumers. I can go right to that farm and purchase. Pretty soon I'll be able to have delivery. I'll have it drop shipped. I'll have all the meats, the eggs. I'll just set them up to bring them to me. And we are adding more and more farms throughout the United States. And eventually we're going to add more and more farms around the world so you can control the food that goes into your body and know exactly where everything came from. Element, Scott Lomu helped to start this project. He was on a show here in the United States called Jungle Gold. And what he realized, he was bringing opportunity to a lot of communities in Africa. He was in West Africa doing a lot of gold mining at that time. But as he looked back, there was a lot of corruption involved. And then when they left, some of the mining areas where they mine, it's just holes in the ground. And so he created this blockchain project to get a certification on the blockchain that your mining is done ethically. You know, you want to make sure there's no 12-year-old at gunpoint digging for cobalt so you can have a smartphone. But also after the mining has finished, they want to make sure that you're coming back and reclaiming the land and growing, you know, mangrove trees or putting in soil so it's farmable. And that way you're doing an honor to the communities that you came in and obviously helped with some opportunity, but you're not leaving them with dead land behind. And down the road, this is kind of more long-term, we want to be able to have the bigger gold miners, if they know there's $100 million worth of gold in one vein, to leave it in the ground, NFT it, put it on the blockchain, and then sell it. And maybe I have an NFT that I've got $42,000 worth of gold in that vein. It's mine. They know exactly where it is using technology, and I could sell it. I could keep it. I could let it appreciate, and they don't even have to dig it up. Now, that does two things. One, saves the environment in a big, big way. Two, it's cheaper. Because if you have an ETF or if you own gold, a lot of people don't own the bullion. They don't own the actual gold. It's sitting in a reserve somewhere in Australia or here in the United States at Fort Knox. You know, we have a lot of gold there. New York, the Federal Reserve has a lot of gold there. And if I have some kind of gold certificate, it's just saying my gold is sitting there in Fort Knox. Well, what if I had a blockchain certificate that said my gold is in the ground at this, you know, gold mine off the Gold Coast or whatever, and it's like, this is where it is. I could get that gold for probably $200 an ounce cheaper because it costs about $200 an ounce to get it out of the ground. So if I just left mine in the ground, I'd have a better price than any gold on the planet. And if there's no shortage in gold, why keep digging it up if you don't have to? So that's what the Element blockchain is about. Switch is our banking blockchain. The CEO of Switch is Kathy Roberts. She was one of the founders of Discover Card here in the United States. She was the president and chief operating officer of Discover Bank. Came out of retirement to help us with this project because she wanted to help people that were unbankable become bankable. This is by far the best crypto wallet I've ever seen. The on-ramp is amazing. You can use a credit card up to $10,000 with no KYC, buy Bitcoin, and it's available within 5 minutes. You can move it to whatever wallet you want to move it to. Once you have it, it comes into a non-custodial wallet, meaning you own the keys, it's your keys, your crypto. If we went out of business tomorrow and you had your 12 seed phrase, you could recover your crypto, it's yours. The other thing that's great about this wallet, if you have your login set up, your 2FA, and you lose your seed phrase, normally you can't get it back. You better set up a new wallet and move it over. Here you could actually get it back. And we don't have your seed phrase. Switch does not have your seed phrase. It's broken up between 3 to 4 nodes. So when you go through your 2FA or your bio markers or whatever it is that logs you in, it can send you, you can re-request your 12 seed phrase, and it'd be like 3 to 4 random computers would have a piece of it, and you'd be the only one that would have eyes on the whole phrase. And so that solves a lot of issues for people that are newer into the crypto space. We have a custodial wallet as well. I wouldn't keep a bunch of your money in the custodial wallet unless you were ready to use it on the marketplace. But anything you keep in the custodial wallet, we can use a Visa card in a lot of places around the world, anywhere Visa is accepted. If you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDT, or USDC in your custodial wallet, it's immediately available on your Visa card. You go to a restaurant, you swipe your card for a couple $100, it'll convert Bitcoin into USD or AUD, and it'll pay off your Visa right then and there as a debit. And so it allows my mom, who's not crypto savvy, to use crypto. She could pay her cell phone bill with her Visa card. She knows how to use her Visa card for sure. So if she had Bitcoin and we moved into that custodial wallet, all of a sudden she's using her Bitcoin, which is great. You can also off ramp, not just onto your Visa, but you could wire me funds. You could wire yourself funds for sure, but there's I don't know any other wallet or exchange where you could actually wire funds to someone else. You have to wire it to you and you alone. And so we're a better version of a lot of the wallets and the exchanges that are out there on the marketplace. And it's just now starting to get bigger and bigger. One of our newest projects is Revo Rideshare. This is like Uber, but it's on the blockchain. So imagine getting paid to take a ride. Get in the car. Imagine as a driver, you get paid money, but you also get tokens for giving the ride. Imagine tipping the driver and getting more tokens because we want to incentivize tipping. It's a revenue generating activity. Imagine the driver getting a tip and getting more tokens because they did a good job driving you. And if I'm a driver and I don't want tokens, I want groceries, I can sell those tokens back to you. And maybe you buy them because you want to take another ride. And listen, the ride, maybe it's 50 Australian dollars, but if you use the tokens, it's only 45. And because of Switch, you could use your credit card or debit card. You could buy the tokens right then and there with a couple clicks. So we're creating that ability for people to utilize blockchain without having to know they're utilizing blockchain. They'll just know like, hey, Uber doesn't pay me to take rides. These guys do. I'm gonna take the one that pays me. We're getting ready to launch a meeting blockchain software like this. I can't wait till I don't ever have to use Zoom again. And it's unfortunate for you guys because if we were on the new blockchain-based meeting software, I would have a paid version. So I would get rewards for each one of you being on here. And I would just give you the rewards if you signed up for our free wallet. But I can't do that yet because that project's not open yet. But I'd say we're a week or two away from being able to do that, which is pretty awesome. Again, I don't know what all meeting software you guys use in Australia. We have Google Meet here. We got Microsoft Teams. We've got Zoom, GoToMeeting. There's a bunch of them, but nobody's loyal to any of them. If Patty and Herb would have sent us a GoToMeeting link, we'd probably be on there. If they'd have sent us a Google Meet, we'd be on there. But pretty soon, they'll only send, we call it Rally, Rally. So it's like, I'll send you a link to the Rally instead of a Zoom, or Google Meet. It's like, hey, let me send you a link to the Rally. We'll talk about the blockchain stuff. And then you'll get free cryptocurrency for getting on there. So that's where we're headed. Our legal team is second to none in the industry. The United States is one of the strictest as far as regulatory bodies in the cryptocurrency space. So it's almost like if you're okay to do business in the US, you're okay to do it pretty much anywhere in the world. I'm going to move inside. Sprinkler time here. But at the end of the day, we have the ability to make sure that we're crossing the T's, dotting the I's, doing everything the right way to the best of our ability. And that's really what this legal team's designed to do. Ken Cuccinelli is the lead advisor. He was the attorney general for the state of Virginia here in the United States. And then he was the director of Homeland Security for the United States of America for about 3 years. So very well connected, making sure that we're doing things the right way. To get in, it all starts for free. Whoever invited you on to the webinar tonight, they can send you a link. Once they send you that link, you can set up a free wallet. It's free, and you can start earning rewards pretty much instantaneously. If you introduce others to get the free wallet, it gives you some more rewards. If you want to get a little more advanced, you can get what's called a WIN node. The WIN blockchain is our sales and marketing blockchain. It basically gives you bonus rewards on every other mining node from every other project. That's the easiest way to explain it. It's $500 a year. It's actually $2,000, but there's a coupon
that's live right now. I'm trying to get it extended past March 7th. I think I'm going to. I don't have, and not that it's me, I don't own the company, but we have votes, one node, one vote. And there's a group of us that have quite a few nodes that are all wanting to vote to keep the price at 500 through the rest of the. I can't guarantee the vote will go that way because there's other node owners, and if they wanted to raise it back to 2,000, that's what'll happen. But I can't imagine they'll vote the other way because I think a lot of people like having that coupon available. But you can get, one win node. There's a lot of people that are buying 5 of them. There's a little bit of an advantage with our mining algorithms to have 5 of them. But those nodes, they're annual. You have to repurchase those nodes every year. The cool thing about it is the education that Herb was talking about. If you go through it, you go through our compliance training, you earn win tokens. Right now, it's about $2,500 a year worth of win tokens. So you never have to use your money to pay for it every year. If you just go through the education, you can just use the tokens and keep buying the nodes annually and keep getting the rewards. The other projects that we talked about, Switch, Galvin, Grow, Element, the Rev Rideshare blockchain, the meeting blockchain, those you can participate in as well. The price of those nodes start at 2,500. There's 100,000 nodes for each of those projects, and every 100 nodes sold, the price goes up $100. You don't need to understand all this just all at once. It's a lot of numbers, but like the Switch nodes, I bought them in October for $4,000. I know Patty and Herb bought one not long ago for around $9,000. So there's a lot of people between October and last month that bought a lot of Switch nodes. So the value went up quite a bit. The Rev nodes are pre-sale. The meeting nodes are pre-sale. So those are 2,500. And pre-sale is pretty cool. Again, there's several different projects. I only highlighted a few of them. There's 70% total payout that goes into the node network, and 30% goes into decentralized operations on all of the projects. But if enough node owners voted, and let's say the rideshare project got to scale and it only needed 20% to operate, the node owners could vote to have 20% go to the operations and 80% go to the node owners. The node owners own the company basically. So if you're a software owner, one node, one vote. Blockchain technology, the World Economic Forum just said this back in 2021. It's geared to disrupt over $897 trillion in traditional markets, and I think of that number, and it's hard for the mind to fathom 897 trillion, but we can position ourselves in the middle of that disruption, which is exciting times. And so for people that are interested in participating, I say, hey, get a free account, start going through the education. If you want to do more, pick up a win node, or if you sell 5 win nodes, we'll give you a free one. You never have to spend any money to be involved in our projects, but I spent quite a bit, as Herb said. I do believe in these projects wholeheartedly. Complete the compliance training, earn free tokens for doing that, share your link with others, and you're on your way to creating a massive community. And my background has really been in traditional business. I've started several companies. 3 of them have done over $1 billion in a single year. One of them did 10 billion over 2 years. And I look at these projects from a philosophical standpoint, and I always think about helping people, like making sure there's a long-term relationship, there's service leadership. But the concern I have, if God says it's my time, who comes in behind me, and do they have the same philosophy? Would they cut the commissions? Would they fire people and just take the money out of the operating account? And I guess there's no way of knowing that until it happens. What I love about the blockchain is the community that builds it runs it. And you'd probably never see the community cut their commissions and stop paying themselves. And that's the beauty of these projects. And I'm heavily invested in all of them. In October, I bought $3 million worth of nodes. And I told you I'd kind of wrap up with the Gala Games story. When my friend told me about Gala, I invested 10,000 into their nodes. He said, you got to get these nodes. I was like, what's a node? He's like, it's software. They'll pay to use it. And it was paying magic internet tokens. It was like monopoly money. It wasn't worth anything. And I ended up buying it. This was early 2018. And the project was taking forever to get going. And so he ended up, a lot of people were complaining. And my buddy Tomas, he had bought like 500,000 worth. And I think he sold 300,000 worth to a bunch of us that were working in his company. And he just bought everybody's back. And he wasn't happy either. He was like, he was pissed that the project was taking so long, but he didn't want people to think he took advantage of them or whatever. So he bought all their nodes back, and a lot of people stopped complaining. But I called him. I was like, hey, I don't want my nodes back. And he's like, I've got to kind of give everybody, because he's like, if I piecemeal it, it's going to be real tough to track. He's like, just call me and you can buy the nodes back. I got busy. I have a lot of different companies and stuff. And even back then I was pretty busy, and I just forgot. I got just tied up with other stuff, and I never purchased those nodes back. And I mean, even today, Gala Games, their daily volume is like 100+ million a day in trading on CoinMarketCap, if you check it out. And depending on when I would have sold the rewards, the $10,000 worth of nodes back in 18 generated enough rewards. Well, I'll give you a good example. I talked to a guy today, heavy in the crypto space, and I go, do you guys know Gala? And the guy goes, I bought Gala nodes from a guy in 2020. A guy sold him 2 nodes for $1,000 in 2020. And the rewards it generated, he goes, I made 384,000 USD on it. And I just was thinking, I was like, man, I would have had 2 more years of rewards on my nodes than you had. I would have had probably 5 to 10 times the nodes you had. And I was looking at $5 to $10 million in rewards, depending on when I would have exited. And so the same group that's involved, they had 10 developers in that project back in 2017, 2018. They have 200 now. They have a 21,000 square foot office space in Utah, US-based developers, but they have people helping and developing all over the world. But they're better now, way better now than they were back in 17 or 18. The projects, as cool as it was for Gala Games for me to buy a cow on a game that I'm playing on my phone, and I could buy it and sell a dragon to Patty, and she could play that game, you know, that she wanted to with the medieval game. That's cool. There is some real world value there, but that's not as cool as a real cow and being able to buy meat and fruits and vegetables with a cryptocurrency. And the thing that's great about our ecosystem, there's several things, but it's synergistic. When you look at like the Ethereum blockchain, there's 600+ projects. They're all fractured. They're all kind of competing with each other for the gas fees and things like that. Our projects are intertwined. If I had meeting tokens and I took them to the farm that's 7 miles away from me, they would accept them and give me my groceries. Now, behind the scenes, they would use the exchange to transfer my meeting token, the rally token, into the grow token and then give me my groceries. But I wouldn't even need to know that happened. I would just know, hey, I got tokens for being on these meetings and I bought food with it. That's a cooler real world utility, in my opinion, than buying a cartoon animal off a farm game that I'm playing on my phone. Being able to ride an Uber-like ride share and use a token instead of having to use money, that's a better real world utility than Bitcoin, which doesn't have a ton of real world utility. The buy side on Bitcoin, it's always been speculative. That's why I bought at 210 a coin. I've never sold. I think it's undervalued now. I think it belongs at 250,000 and up. And so I won't sell below that number. Whether I'm right or wrong is irrelevant. I don't buy it for utility. I buy it because I think the value is going to go up. And the only reason the miners sell it, for the most part, they think the value is going to go up too. But if they're mining Bitcoin, they have to pay for power. They have to pay the electric bill. And most electric companies, unless you're in El Salvador or maybe Latvia, they don't accept Bitcoin. And so you have to sell it. It forces the liquidity of the market. What we do is real world value, real world revenue forces the utility. and it forces the value of our token. The more people using our rideshare, the more valuable that token. The more people using our meeting software, the more valuable that token. So that's the thing that I really love about these projects. I can move the needle. Gala, I wasn't going to be able to do too much because I'm not into that world. I don't play a lot of online games or anything like that. But I do a lot of meetings like this. I know people like Herb and Patty who do a lot of meetings like this. I'm sure Warren does a lot of meetings like this. So it's like, if we're getting paid to do meetings like this and we can help you guys get paid to do meetings like this, we'll all probably start doing meetings like this, because why wouldn't we? Why would we ever use another software that's not decentralized, that's not paying us to use it? And so that's really the nuts and bolts. I'll turn it back over to Herb and Patty. And again, happy to answer any questions, fill in any blanks you guys have.
Yeah, you got it. Well, listen, we just got back from a 2-hour drive. My daughter had a soccer game. And so, yes, we'll hop on here. I'll keep this very brief, but I definitely think that it's some information that all of you will benefit from. And so, I know, Tony, first of all, thank you, Herb and Patty, for putting this together, and all the other leaders. And then thank you, Tony, for jumping on. And so Tony and I have known each other for 15 years. And I knew Tony was doing well. I didn't know how well. So he flew me out just to update me on some projects. And that's when I found out, okay, his accounting firm did 10 billion in the last 2 years. His credit card processing company doing 4 or 5 billion a year. A delivery company hit the Inc. 500, merged with delivery.com, #1 franchisee in the world. And, oil wells and all these different things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Tony, I had no idea. And then he called me up. This is back months ago. And he's like, hey, look, you want to fly with me out to Utah, where I'm meeting with the #1 level 1 blockchain guy in the world, and talk about nodes and some projects. I'm like, look, I don't even know what a node is. But long story short, I flew out. It was like a fire hose of information. I knew nothing. And the more I started looking at it, I got a few nodes, and the rewards started compounding. And so this last month, I've gotten really excited about it. Matter of fact, in February, one day, my win rewards. Now, I didn't have 53 million to throw into nodes like Tony. I told him, hey, look, if they'll take some starter checks, I'll put 53 million in, as long as they don't try to cash them. But one day, last month, my rewards were $780,000 or $90,000. I'm sorry, not dollars. Tokens. Rewards. We're tokens. Sorry. And that's what happens. People are texting me. And I'm sitting there going, oh my goodness. So 780 or 90,000 times 0.0012 or 0.0015. That would have been like making $1,100-$1,200 for the day. That's not bad. But I'm like, okay, if you look at Gala that started back in 2018, 2019, a team of 10, they didn't have the technology that they have now. They hadn't done 400 billion transactions on their blockchain. They hadn't done any of the things. They didn't have the technology that's available today, but they 500x'd. I'm like, if you multiply 780,000 times 0.0015 times 500, that has the potential to be a several $100,000 day. And then I'm looking at these rewards coming in on a daily basis, and I'm like, wow, this is pretty crazy how fast these things are compounding. And so then I just started sharing it with a few people. Again, I didn't start really promoting until February. And I was looking just a second ago, and I'm like, dang, I showed my wife. I'm like, I didn't even pay attention to the commissions because I'm so excited about the projects. And here we are. I mean, you cannot have better timing. You got the Bitcoin halving today, the all-time high for Bitcoin. You got the ETFs that just happened. You got BlackRock. You got Fidelity. You've got digital currency. They're talking about it everywhere. I was just at a soccer game, and the head of the entrepreneurial center for the college we have locally, and she's a professor, all of her students, when I mentioned blockchain, she goes, we're looking for speakers to come in because they all want to know about the blockchain. I'm in Lynchburg, Virginia, walking through the mall, and there's a Bitcoin ATM in the Lynchburg, Virginia mall, which is, we're not in a big city. And so if you look at all the timing of where we are, Gala 500x, everything going on, and then I'm looking at my commissions, and I told my wife, I didn't even notice that we've made last month close to $30,000 in commissions, not counting the rewards that are compounded on a daily basis. Not to mention, I just started with, a few nodes because I didn't even know what was going on. There's a little blockchain humor for you. All right. And so it's very exciting, but here's the urgency. Okay. I found out something, and this is why it's good to hang on to the end, because you never know when you're going to hear that one thing. So I had a friend of mine who is financially strapped. They have a special needs son. He could only afford like 6 $500 win nodes. And and he's a block bot. Okay. So when you get in, like right now, if you sell somebody 5 win nodes, one person 5 win nodes, or 5 people 1 node, you're a block bot. You double your commissions from 10% to 20%. That's a simple explanation. They both were block bots. My buddy had 6 win nodes. This other person had 1 win node. Both are block bots. The one with 1 win node was earning 1,200, 1,500 rewards a day. And it was a couple weeks. Like, it started out 700, 800. But my buddy was earning 20 to 40,000, then 80,000 rewards for a day. His biggest day last month was about 300,000 rewards. And again, not a whole lot, but if you multiplied that times 0.0015 the day I looked at it, that's like $450, $450, $500 for the day. But multiply that by 500. So that's when I learned, when I started looking at the way that they reward you with these nodes, and that's just the win nodes, not the other ones, that the win nodes are a multiplier. And each win node that you have is a full point. There are other things that you do that are a fraction of a point. When you operate 5 win nodes, you get an additional whole point. So if you have 5 win nodes, you have 6 total points. So all the win nodes that are sold today, when they look at your points and your win score, that determines how they distribute the rewards for the day. So I noticed that my ranking started going up. I went in the top 5,000, the top 500. Last night, I was number 39 in the company. Okay. And it's just because right now, in the beginning, when all these projects are launching, there are more rewards split between less people. It's easier to get into the top. I was just on the phone with my friend that has 6 win nodes. And he said, dude, last night I went to number 67. So when you hit 50, there's even more rewards. So with all of that said, I'll leave you with this. This is why I'm so excited. This is why I put every project that I have on hold, except for the blockchain projects. Tony, I have a voicemail on my phone from 8/23/21. This is a painful story. And Tony told me now, hey, Darren, when I call people, I offer them 2 things. I don't tell them this, but in my mind, I believe in what I'm doing so much, I offer them opportunity or regret. And it's up to them to choose. So a voicemail that he left me in 8/23/2021 said, Darren, I'm excited. I'm launching a new project. And I've launched an accounting firm. We're going to go after, $1 trillion, blah, 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 blah. I did not return his phone call. Life was busy. My mom was sick. My mom passed away. Life was just crazy busy. I never returned the phone call. The friends that he called the exact same time as me earned the last 2 years $50 to $100 million a year. I chose regret. When I'm with Tony and he's like, Darren, these projects will make the 10 billion we did in the last 2 years look like nothing. Like, Darren, I've never seen anything like it, when all the things are coming together at the right place at the right time. And I don't even like saying that. We're all so used to being hyped, but it's true. And so I know people that have done extremely well. I don't know too many people like Tony that have multiple companies currently that have done billions of dollars in the last 24 to 36 months. Then you go with Wright, who has done 10 billion in the last few years, went from a team of 10 to several hundred, 21,000 square foot office, 400 billion transactions. The blockchain right now is growing faster than the internet in 1996. They say opportunities go through 3 phases: ridiculed, opposed, and then self-evident. But only 3% get involved in the first 2 most profitable phases, which is ridiculed and opposed. Netflix went to Blockbuster and said, listen, we will pay you. Okay, we want to sell to you for $50 million. Blockbuster laughed at them. Okay, Blockbuster does not exist today. Uber, the largest taxi service in the world, owns no taxis. Well, and that's only going to be the largest for a certain period of time, right? With Rev Rides. You've got Airbnb, the largest. They go, we're going to take on the hotel industry. They own no buildings. YouTube, the largest media, platform, owns no media. Facebook, the largest content provider, owns no content. So here we are in the ridiculed opposed. We're going into the self-evident phase. You're seeing BlackRock, Fidelity, all of these people coming on board. So I told Tony, I'm like, listen, I missed it last time. I will not miss this time. And I believe that the opportunity, because we can move the needle with these projects. And that's why what I'm doing, I went and sat down with a doctor friend of mine this week. I'm calling I've gotten all my kids' nodes, and I'm going to people and I'm telling them sincerely, I'm actually trying not to be excited. Because I'm going, I don't want your excitement to be the reason if you decide to do this. Once I share this information, if you don't want to do it, do not do it. I don't want anybody pressuring me. I'm not going to pressure you. But I'm not going to come back. You're not going to come back to me like a friend of mine did in my last company. We went out, we built a team of several 100,000 people. We did hundreds of millions in revenue. I was speaking all over the world. We were very blessed. And I had a friend of mine call me and say, Darren, I want to smack you. And I'm like, Vicky, why do you want to smack me? She said, because why didn't you tell me when you got started? And I'm like, well, I didn't think you'd be interested. She goes, well, you shouldn't have thought. We've been praying for something, looking for something. If you'd offered it to me and we said, no, that's my fault. You didn't give me the chance to say no. So guess who I called about these projects? So all of my friends, people that I love, care about, respect, I really do not care if they do it or not. If they don't want to do, I almost try to talk them out of it sometimes because I go, but I do want you to have the ability to completely change your life. And the difference in all the businesses that I've been a part of, if you didn't go out and you didn't sell, you didn't recruit, you didn't work your butt off, you're not going to make anything. What I love about the nodes is you have the nodes software working for you 24/7. And I'm hosting them in the cloud for $4.95 for a node a month. Doesn't get any simpler than that. So I can take my kids, and if I looked at the Gala nodes, the people that I've talked to, this is no income disclaimer. These are the people I've talked to. They're like, Darren, the Gala nodes, when they came out, you can't even get them now. If you do, they're $100,000 a node. They made anywhere from $600,000 to $1.25 million. I'm like, you mean to tell me the $2,500 node that you purchased made $600,000, some $1.25 million, and all you did was let them run? Just like the cell phone company that came to our family and we agreed, we want to put a tower on your property. We can't buy land all over the world. And we let them do that. They paid us a lot of money. So with this, I love the fact that my adult children have nodes. My son told me yesterday he's either up to 7 or 11 nodes, my 25-year-old. Right. And he's just generating rewards every single day. And so I am excited because this team, right, the people you see on here today, like Patty and Herb, and I know there's different leaders I hadn't met yet. We've been blessed to do some really big things. But I believe the next, and when I told Tony said, you know what, Darren, you or anyone that sees the vision is seeing it before the masses see it. That's why they asked Helen Keller, what's worse than being blind, having sight with no vision. When the internet launched, who owns the internet? No one. Jeff Bezos, Zuckerberg, we know the people that took advantage of that. But when Tony said, Darren, you have the ability, anybody that sees this has the ability to have a bigger year this year than my biggest year ever. That's the potential, not a promise, not a guarantee. And I didn't believe it. After being in for the last several months and consuming information every day, seeing these projects, falling in love with the projects, I believe that with everything in me. And so you can imagine, and I know he mentioned some of the founder nodes, for example, the Rally, the Zoom-like technology. Can you imagine every entrepreneur we know in every space is going to want that instantly? And all of us have the ability to go, Tony, let us be a part of the founders nodes. Put our nodes in. right, from the very start, and then put your 5 million in, Tony, not my 5 million, put your 5 million and let our nodes do all those transactions and generate those rewards. It's an exciting place to be. So I didn't mean to go on too much, but you can tell my voice from just sharing this with anyone and everyone. It has been years since I've been so excited I can't sleep. It's been years. Actually, I don't know if I've ever felt like to where I wanted to make sure that the people I know, love, and care about. I got a brother with psoriatic arthritis and he can barely work. And I'm like, listen, we got to get you some nodes because that you're not going to be able to do what you're doing, working on cars every day for the rest of your life. And I want to make sure you and your 3 kids and your wife are taken care of.
Someone was asking about the foundation on blockchain. We have one of our blockchain projects that it covers called Give. It's a charitable blockchain. And there's a few projects that we're pretty passionate about, but there's plenty out there. But what Give is designed to do is to ensure that your funds go to the source that they're supposed to go to. I know in the United States, there's a lot of charitable organizations that 38% goes to admin. And it's like, man, it'd be nice if 95% went to where it needed to go. And I know there needs to be some admin, but gosh, does there need to be almost, 40% in admin? And so our blockchain project tracks the dollars and how much of your dollar goes to the cause that you want it to go to. And if it's high enough, it can live on our blockchain. So that's kind of what we do with the Give blockchain. And other nonprofits, other charities can live on that blockchain as well. They don't have to fund their own level 1 blockchain project. Philip says, what do you consider the most important threats to Wind tokens or the node community you built? Government, I guess, regulation. Even it's tough when you're decentralized to have a threat, even from government. Like when China outlawed Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin's fine. Like the mining algorithm changed within 48 hours. And even though half the mining was offline, the algorithm got easier and half the amount of mining computers were able to handle the transaction load. So there's a lot of things that the community can do and build in. But again, I don't know if there's any way to avoid all the threats that are out there in the business world or in the world today. I think, for me, I've always looked at any business I've started or been a part of, and I asked 3 questions. Can we add value to the clients? Can we add value to the sales reps that bring us the clients? And can we add value to the employees or the operators, the ICs, the independent contractors in US who are servicing the clients and supporting the sales staff? And if we can check those 3 boxes off, I'm a ready, fire, aim entrepreneur. I usually start a company up and start rocking. The blockchain solves some of the biggest problems on the planet. And I think, some of the problems there may be, governments that don't want them solved yet. If you Google blockchain voting patents, the United States Post Office has a patent on blockchain voting. And, there's a lot of talk every election year about voter fraud and things like that. And I think Jeff can probably enlighten us as well. Like the blockchain eliminates voter fraud. Like it does. Like it just does. It would not exist. You'd never have a dead person vote. If somehow somebody got your private key, took your computer and logged in and voted as you, that could happen. It'd be anonymous. But if you looked and saw that you voted and you knew you didn't, you could sound the alarm right away. You know what I mean? Like it would just eliminate voter fraud. But again, the post office has had that patent for a little while and they haven't used it. So I don't know. Maybe they don't want to get rid of it. So I guess, like I said, there's probably some powers that be that maybe don't want us to fix some of these problems. I was shocked on the ETFs. If you watch the United States and BlackRock and Fidelity and this huge investment banks put in over $10 billion into the Bitcoin marketplace, usually that they call that smart money. The big money, the big investment money is always called smart money. And they call retail investors like us, little folks, dumb money. if blockchain does what it's capable of, investment banks are irrelevant. Like there's no place in the world for them. The retail investor, the communities will be able to out invest a big BlackRock or a Fidelity in a heartbeat. And so I'm trying to figure out if either A, they understand and they're just like, we might as well make as much money while we can before blockchain changes everything, or B, they have no idea what they've done and they are participating in their own downfall, which is kind of funny. But yeah, there's going to be pushback. Uber is not going to go away quietly. It's a $120 billion company. I'm sure they're going to try and start as many fires in our camp as possible. So yeah, I mean, I don't expect this to be smooth sailing what we're trying to accomplish. I don't know if anything I've ever built that was worth building was smooth sailing. So there's threats here and there, but I've never let that bother me, I guess.
We'll take market share.
You're right. Someone says, I have Win for now. Can you use products yet? Example, Switch without owning a node. Yeah, absolutely. Switch, you can download the Switch rewards. You might just have to use it online. I don't know if it has a native app or if it's a web-based app. If you're in Miami, in Florida, you can take rides right now with rideshare. Here, hopefully in a week or two, you'll be able to use our meeting software. But there's grow farms around the U.S. If you know farmers in Australia and ranchers that would like to be on the Grow blockchain, I can connect them up with the Grow project heads, the CEO of Grow, and add farms in Australia so you can understand what you're eating and what you're putting in your body. So these projects are live. Almost all of them are live, and the one that's not live is coming live here in a week or two. That's the meeting software. Everything else is live and active. Yeah, so I just answered that question that was coming up.
Hey, Tony, quick question. And
yeah,
I know,
Warren.
but from your perspective, there's no way this should be viewed just because of if you're referring people, you're a block bot, you are generating rewards, could be viewed as a commission. How would you answer, is this a network marketing company? Because as you know, you've been in the industry before in your past. A lot of network marketing companies don't want you to be involved in any other network marketing companies. So do you see this at all? I know, no, but can you speak into that?
Yeah, I mean, I liken it to Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin miners created pools, and created overrides, and it's like certain miners got more of the pool and overrides were bringing in other miners into their pool. I mean, could you call that network marketing? Probably not. I mean, was there multi-level payout? Yeah, but it's a decentralized space where you're just participating as a software owner in transactions. And if you build the community, it builds a transaction, but there's no buy-in, there's no auto ship, you don't have to sell anything. You buy nodes and do nothing and get rewards. You could sell nodes and get overrides for that. If they start selling nodes, can you get overrides? Yeah, but it's on the community. Like the blockchain, the rewards, it has one blockchain. So if you signed up today and Elon Musk signed up tomorrow, that would benefit you. Like that would be a good thing for you because you could end up, some of your rewards would, because you signed up before him in the blockchain. So, there is no company. I think Herb explained it pretty well. Like, I don't own any of it. Like, it's literally just an algorithm. So you come in and do whatever you want to do. Like a network marketing company can kick you out, and they do all the time. Like, we can't. You can do crazy stuff over here, and your node is your node. Like, we can't take it away. It is what it is. It's just gonna mine and get rewards. So yeah, it's an algorithm. It's just math.
Thank you. Thank you.
And there's a few other good questions. Somebody created the first live streaming music NFT project that went public. Versus merger on NASDAQ. Driven price very well. Yeah, I mean, we've got Gala Music as well, which is part of our ecosystem. So that's something you might be interested in calling and learning more about. And we definitely are working on more and more gamification. I love that you noticed that. And we have to get blockchain where we believe it should be, it has to be like the internet, where people don't even think about it. Like we're using the internet right now to communicate. You have to make it so people can use blockchain, like my mom, and just have no idea she's using blockchain, but she logged in on her phone, and because of blockchain certificate saying, hey, this really is Glenda. That's my mom's name, Glenda. This is Glenda. And then all of a sudden, from that one login, she can pay her bills, she can pay her credit cards off, she can order from Amazon, she can do everything because it's so secure, that one login, she's in everything. And now her life's better, her life's easier. She doesn't have to look around, what's my password for this or that? It's like, hey, the blockchain helped her just with security on her logins, and now her life's easier than it was before the blockchain. So that's where we're wanting to head. Are the nodes in each project a one-off payment? Oh, I explained that. So yeah, the Win nodes are annual. Every other node is lifetime. They're all native they all have their own tokens, each project. But if I used my meeting token at the Grow Farm, they'll take it, they'll convert it. They won't accept the meeting token. They'll take it, use Switch, and figure out what the exchange rate is for one meeting token versus one Grow token, make the switch, give me my groceries. And maybe I have some tokens left, or maybe they say, hey, you got to give us 14 more Win tokens to pay for your Grow, or 14 more Rev tokens or meeting tokens, or you gave us too many meeting tokens, so there's still some that are going to be sent back to your wallet. So they're synergistic, but they're standalone. Each project has its own tokens.
Tony, someone asked a question in the chat. I think it was just a phone number. It says, is Switch available in Australia? And I think it can hold true for all the tokens. Are they available globally?
Yeah. Other than maybe, I don't know if you get them. I guess you have internet anywhere in the world. I guess the only places you couldn't get them is without internet. Yeah, that's as long as you got internet, you could come into our blockchains. So it's good. Once you purchase Wins, how quickly do rewards show up? You got to make sure your Wins turned on. If you just got one Win node or whatever, there's instructions on how to load it onto your computer. It's not too tough. It's a few clicks and create an account. And you can load it in the cloud on Block Fabric for $5 a month. Once it's running, usually 24 to 48 hours, I think you start seeing rewards. Maybe it's been 48 for some of mine, but I guess I've had some people that said they saw it at like 24, but it would take a day or two. You asked about layer 1, Jeff. Yeah, all our blockchains are layer 1. You can one-way bridge to ERC20 with any of our tokens, MetaMask, Pancake, so they can move. But eventually, we won't have to pay gas or anything. We'll have gas fees. Ethereum's a little clunky these days lately. Natalie's a little disappointed. The guy that he forked Ethereum off of lives here in Dorado Beach. I've met him. He was at Encanto Beach Club near me. And so, our goal is as valuable as the nodes are, the ability to airdrop NFTs into the real world revenue is exciting. Let's say I've got 1 million riders around the world in rideshare every day. And it's $5 a ride. And we just say, listen, we're going to airdrop a free ride. So you don't have to pay the $5. You just pay the mileage. You pay the driver the mileage. So we airdrop that $5 NFT that now the next ride they go on, and we know they're heavy riders every day, commute, whatever, they're using the ride share. So we airdrop 1 million people a free ride. And then we say, it's a $1 gas fee to move that NFT into your wallet and use it. Well, every node owner, we just generated $1 million that day that fires into the node network. So not having to pay Ethereum's gas fees is going to come in real handy for our node network, because the node owners will be the ones that participate in those gas fees. So they'll not be that disappointed about them. And it's all level 1. And so it'll be streamlined. It'll be quick, like transactions will run pretty quick. Blockchain needs to become frictionless. Yeah, Jeff, I agree with you on that. I got 5 win nodes earlier today. Still not seeing my tokens. How the points? Yeah, I'd give it 48 hours. And Patty and Herb can get with you and connect you if you have an issue. They can connect you directly with. We have customer service and all that, so they can help. And then I've done.
Could I also interject something there? I also want to
Yeah.
encourage everybody that on the bottom of when you open your account, the bottom of the Connect United back office, you can scroll all the way to the bottom to the FAQ. So frequently asked questions, that you can answer a lot of your own questions, and it'll actually liberate you so that, because this is growing very fast, a lot of people are learning about it and getting involved, and it will free you up. And if your question isn't there, put it anyway, because what happens then, they'll actually make that another FAQ question that's in there for everybody else.
We're building AI training as well, so eventually you can just ask the AI your questions, and it'll actually know better than any of us do. So it'll be coming around the corner here pretty soon. So we've got some. That's really Web3, right? When you combine AI and blockchain technologies, and yeah, I guess that's the biggest threat is AI turning into the Terminator. I guess that's answering Philip's question from earlier. Who knows what'll happen? Elon's a little worried about it here and there. I guess. And at the end of the day, the technology's there. People are going to use it, so we might as well utilize it. It's impressive at what it can do. So we are living in exciting times right now. I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on in the world that are negative, but I think they're highlighted, and I think there's a lot of us that are doing positive things around the world, but people don't hear about them. And communities like this, we can start to do more and more positive things. At the end of the day, a lot of us have that same philosophy of servant leadership, of being able to help people achieve more together than they could by themselves. And I think every single one of us, we need each other to make the type of impact that a lot of us know we can make, but we just will never be able to do it by ourselves, And so it's got to be a global movement. It's got to be something that we do in parallel. I think when we go after Uber, we're attacking them head on. But when you're changing the way people transact, share value, you got to kind of run in parallel. The internet, newspapers are less and less prevalent, but it's not like the internet came in and said, hey, everybody's got to get rid of newspapers. My dad and mom still got a newspaper for a lot of years, and it's like, it wasn't that long, like, in the late 90s or 20, 30 years ago almost, I was like, what happened yesterday? I'd ask my dad every time he got out the newspaper. I'd say, hey, Dad, what was going on yesterday? You want to know what was going on today? I can tell you. It's on the internet. I can let you know. But we want to have. It's almost like an exit ramp, where it's like the blockchain. Here's how you run your life. Here's what you're doing. Here's how you're using the internet. It's like there's an off ramp where you can come into our ecosystem. But if you're not ready, just keep on going. There's another exit down the road. There's another exit down the road. There'll be a new project that comes a month from now, 10 months from now, a year from now. Maybe that's where you take your exit. And so for us, it's really just planting the seeds, letting people know these projects exist, letting them know that there's real world value tied to them, and there's real people that have experience generating real world revenue. And at the end of the day, if our projects don't offer you guys or our contacts and our networks real world utility, and they can't use these tokens to make their lives easier or better, there shouldn't be any value to our token. And I'm okay with that. I just feel like there's a lot of areas that the blockchain can add a ton of value. And all we got to do is go share the story. And as people start to come into the ecosystem, they're going to realize it. And the values of our tokens are going to skyrocket.